In this video, we're going to talk about chords that fit together in a minor key and why. In this lesson, what we're going to do is take the natural minor scale and really use it to build out the chords that sit nicely together in a minor key. We're going to use C minor as our example here. So real quick, as a recap, what we talked about in the last lesson, the natural minor scale is made up of the root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat six, flat seven. So that's the scale formula. And when we put that into the key of C, our notes are C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, and B flat. And you really should take some time, if you haven't, to play through the scale up and down one string. It really helps to get you in tune with the intervals and the spaces between the notes. It's a great way to get to know a scale. Let's try to build some chords based on each note of the scale. And the result will be 7 chords that are said to be diatonic. In other words, they fit together within the key. Each of these chords will be built from some combination of these 7 tones. That's it, okay? That to me is really powerful, and to me there's a little bit of a mental hack that can help you do that. Really, you start with your main note, the root note of the chord. We'll start with C, and all you have to do is walk up the scale and skip a tone, and that's your next tone in the chord. So now we know for our first chord, we need this E flat. So we've got C. Let's put our E flat there on the 4th string. And then from E flat, we'll do the same thing. Continue up, but skip this note and move up. And that's a G. So now we need C, E flat, G. And that's the spelling. Those are the notes that we need of our C chord. This is a C minor chord. You can tell because of this minor third interval here. All right? But let's take this one step further and build out the 7th chord. Because if we stop on G, we can still continue through the scale. We could skip this A flat and add a B flat, and then we've got a 4-tone chord. All right. Now I'm going to play this I'm going to repackage this so it's a little bit easier to play on the fretboard, but the note that we're looking for is this B flat. Now I'm going to end up playing this B flat here on the 3rd string. But check this chord out. You may already be familiar with that, but it's got all of those tones that we just sort of pulled out from the scale. We start with our C, all right? Then we have our G. So these are out of order. It's not root, flat 3rd, 5th, flat 7. Right now it's root, flat, or root 5th, okay, flat 7, then the 3rd on top, okay? Let's continue this. Let's work with our D chord. And if you can get this one, if you can really understand this D chord, then the concept to me is firmly in your mind, and that's great. So we know that we're going to start with D. We're going to skip our E flat, and we need an F for our next tone. So D, F, all right? And then from that F, we skip another tone, and we need this A flat. So a beast to play in this sort of ascending shape here, where we've got the root, the flat 3rd, and the flat 5. So that means this is a diminished chord. And now if we keep going, you might break your hand, but we can keep going musically. And what we're going to do is we stopped on this A flat here, so we're going to skip the B flat, and now we need a C. All right, let's see if we can do that. So we've got our D, F, A flat, and if you bar with the first finger, you can get that. It's tough. So most of the time, you're going to see this fingered into this shape, or one of a couple of other different shapes, but this is a beast. So we're probably not going to be hopping into and out of that chord, but it does illustrate the tones well, right? Because we've got our root of the chord, our flat 3rd, our flat 5 in this case, and that flat 7 on top. So that chord is called a D minor 7 flat 5. Here's the D, here's the flat 5, here's the flat 7, and here's the minor 3rd. also called a half diminished chord. This would be a D half diminished. All right? Like I said, if you can get this one, I'm sure you're going to get the rest of it, but we're going to keep going. We're going to build the next chord in the sequence. This is going to be our 3 chord, and it's going to be built off of this E flat. So we skip, then we need G. All right, so you can tell we've got a major sound happening here. From G, we're going to skip, we need B flat. All right, a cool E flat major. And if we were to continue, we're going to skip C, and we need D. That's going to give us an E flat major chord. And if you bar with the first finger, you can catch that D on the 2nd string there. Not an easy chord, definitely a really cool chord when you stack it in ascending pitch this way. But here's a shape that's probably a little more friendly for us on the guitar. We're going to have the root, the 5th, the major 7th, and then the 3rd. All right, so that's an E flat major 7th chord. Next up, we're going to build a chord off of our F note, okay? So we're going to skip, and we're looking for that B flat. A flat, rather, sorry. So this is going to be a minor chord, so F minor. And then we're going to move from our A flat, skip the B flat, up to C. That gives us the F minor chord there. And if we skip over the D, we're looking for an E flat, and that one is just about impossible to play. So we're going to refinger this and have an F minor 7 here. We've still got all of those tones, are just rearranged just like before when we converted over to the C minor 7 shape, like this. All right, so there's our root, 5th, flat 7, and then the minor 3rd. We'll do the same thing. We'll end up with a G minor 7, and then an A flat. So what are we going to do with our A flat? We got to come here, and we need to skip the B flat and go to C. All right, so that's here. So now we're back in major tonality, and if we skip from C, we're looking for an E flat here. All right, so there's our A flat major, and we're going to add a 7th to that. But just like before, I want to refinger this so that we can actually play this, and this is going to look like this with that major 7th, the G, in there. All right, cool sounding chord. Now I want to switch down here so that we can play our next chord. It's going to be built off of the B flat note, okay? So we're starting with the B flat. We're going to skip over, in this case, our root C, and go to a D. All right, so we're going to play a B flat and a D. All right, and then we're going to skip over the E flat and hit the F. I kind of want to play that F, so we still need to play a D. Let's put that on top, and we've got this. And then finally, we need the 7th, so we need to skip another note, and we'll find out that that is going to be an A flat. So from B flat, we skipped C, we added D, then we skipped our E flat, and we added F, then we skipped our G and added that A flat. In this shape, nice and cozy, real cool 7th bar chord shape. All right? All right, now that we've done that and we've thrown quite a lot of information at you, your brain's probably hurting, your fingers might be hurting. What do we do with that? How do we use this to make some blues? Well, I put together a blues progression, so a 12-bar blues, but in a minor key that we're just going to strum through so that you can really get to hear the tones and the quality and the different vibe that you get from playing minor key blues when you compare it to major key blues. All right, I'll throw up on the screen the progression, so see if you can play along. And then I've got one surprise at the very end, and after we play through the progression, I'm going to come back and tell you about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, right, I threw one surprise in at the very end, and it was this 5 chord. Notice that everything else fit with what we've already covered in this lesson. The 1 chord was minor. The 4 chord was this F minor. F minor 7, in fact. And then we did the same thing with our 5 chord. We played a G minor 7 chord. But then, as we really hit that last bar, maybe you picked up on it. Instead of just playing through our minor 5 chord, what we did was threw in the dominant 7 chord for our 5 chord. This is a substitution that you're going to run across quite frequently in minor blues or anytime you're using a minor key. Instead of playing just the minor 7 version of your 5 chord, in our case it was this G minor 7, go ahead and make that 3rd major. Then you've got a really strong pull to your 1 chord. It's an alteration that happens quite often. Instead of playing that 5 chord as a minor, play it as a major. This can work if you're playing with triads or if you're playing with full-blown 7th chords like we are. So just remember that that changes from a minor 7 to a dominant 7. But now notice this progression, we didn't do it all the time. It can be just a little bit of seasoning for your progression to kind of spice things up, and that's what we did in the final bar of the progression. All right, if you like this, I think you'll really dig what we do with St. James Infirmary. That's a course inside BGI's premium member library. You can check it out, comes along with membership. There's a lot of cool resources to help you get that one down, and there's some cool finger picking happening in that course as well. That's it for this lesson. Until next time, practice smart and play on.